Anthony bought 4 real estate deals completely virtually in the last 12 months. In this video, he broke down step by step exactly how he was able to get into those deals with no prior knowledge or experience. Now Anthony is looking to scale up his portfolio into multifamily units. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks about how you and how Anthony can break into the multifamily space. Without further ado, let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Anthony. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. So tell us about your real estate investing journey so far.
Well, honestly, it started with you. It started being introduced to Martel Turnkey and what you guys do, and but like just to really back it up before that happened.
All the way.
I went to school, went to UCSD, studied theater, moved to Los Angeles like many people, pursued a career in acting. Got into acting, started working in hospitality, obviously, because that's what we all do. And then, through that, I became general managers of restaurants. I worked in restaurants. I opened restaurants, trained tons of zillions of people. It's so funny. I go places now in LA and I just recognize people because of the turnover and just that journey that's been my journey for 10 years. But through that, I've always kind of wanted to own a bar. And since then, I currently have 2 bars. I've bought bars. I sold bars. They're in Orange County, and that's where I get most of my income. But I still will work as a general manager sometimes and open restaurants. When I do that, I like to just do it for like 6 months, a year, not really commit, because I don't want to just go there and crank that wheel. Mm-hmm. And that wheel is a terrible wheel to crank. It is so much work. I can't even begin to tell you the things I've dealt with in this industry. It's to a point to where I'm like, I got to do something different. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? And I always kind of thought real estate in the back of my head. Like I've always just kind of thought that. And I have this one friend, and I remember him saying this. This was like 20 years ago. He's like really successful, owns lots of businesses. And he was like, bro, you can never go wrong with real estate. Like you can never go wrong with real estate. Like, trust me, real estate, it's all about real estate. But then he's got like, I got this parking lot. I own this bar. He's got all these different things going on. Yeah. But I just kind of stuck with me a little bit. And I thought like, okay, like maybe there's real estate, and then you're watching Selling Sunset and they make it look cool, and there's all these different things happening. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to really get out of the hospitality industry, working it from like a 9 to 5. It's actually not a 9 to 5. It's like a 9 to like 12 at night, 5 days a week. And if it's a holiday, great. That just means you work. Yes. And it means you work 6 days that week. So it's just like, it's breaking me, and I really wanted to think about retirement and what retirement looks like. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do later in life? Like everything's great now. Like life's good. I like where I live. Like the quality of life is fantastic. I can't complain. But when I'm thinking about how I want to live when I retire, there's a gap and a problem. Mm-hmm. And I've really recognized that recently. And I was like, wow, I need to fix that because I am going to be totally screwed later. Yeah. If I want to live the way I live, like I don't want to have some crummy apartment, like super inland, and not like my vehicle, and not get to go to restaurants as much as I do. Like I don't want that. Yeah. Like I want to continue living the way I live. Yeah. So I thought, I value like through acting, I'd always take like, commercial workshops. I'd take like a casting workshop. A year later, I'd do another commercial. So I really valued like coaching and getting, taking somebody or hiring somebody and having them show me the way. When I first got out of UCSD, I went to an acting school where I was in that school for like 8 years, teach and had that teacher and would do little side, other teachers would come in and teach things. So just like knowing that, got me to kind of this place. Yeah. And my fiance is a life coach. So like she values coaching crazy. She's always telling me, oh, you need a business coach, you need a mental coach. Like you need every coach you can get. So like I knew I needed to do something like, right. And then, I was working for a long time. I was working at a restaurant, and the grind, it was just so insane what I was doing. And just like everything that was going on, I was like, I just got to call it with this restaurant. I'm not doing it anymore. So I did, and I knew I wanted to do something different, and I still had the idea of real estate. And I was like, okay, well, let me just like chill out. I quit right before my parents. This is amazing. My parents offered to take me and my girlfriend at the time to Peru for it was like 6 weeks. Okay. About 6 weeks, went to Peru. Yeah. And we went on that trip. So I really like planned my quitting to that. Yeah, and then I had all this time to figure out what I wanted to do. Yeah. But what I started, there was that window between quitting and going on that trip where I was like, you know what, I'm going to like start figuring this out. So, you know, obviously like, you know, I'm on Instagram, I'm looking at every ad is just like shooting at me, which I got to say, I like a targeted ad sometimes. Like it made life easy. I was just like, oh, cool. That's cool. That seems legit. Let me research that. Let me look up this. So I played that game and I can't tell you, I had like 8 to 10 interviews with all different kinds of companies and investment groups, and really tried to figure out what I thought would be a good fit for me and my journey and where I'm at right now in my life and what kind of fits into like my circle, you know?
Wow.
So I did that and met with everybody, and it was so funny because I'm sure, well, you know, like everyone wants you to like sign right there. They're like, okay, hey, we just sent it to your phone. All you got to click is the big red blinking button. Just press that and sign with your finger. You're good. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, you know, I'm actually going to Peru with my family for like 6 weeks. And I just want to think it over, make sure I make the right call. Like I can't do anything until I come back anyways. So there's no point of me signing up right now. And everyone was like, oh. Okay, and I was like, great, I got an amazing out with all of these people. I get all the info.
They don't know what to say.
They don't know what to say.
That's hilarious.
No one could get around that. And they were like, oh, okay, well, when should I call you back? And I was like, oh, great, well, I'm going to land on this day, so give me like a week or so, and then we'll set up an appointment. So I had them all reset up. Ditched some of them because I was like, that's just not for me. But very insightful. And then I ended up going with your program. Which was like awesome. Awesome. And the reason that I chose your program over everybody else's was because of the acquisition of the homes. Like that was
that we had the deals there.
That you have them,
Not the teams on the ground.
That was a big part for me. That was a big part. But for me, like that, I thought like I knew that you had that. The teams on the ground is amazing. And for me at that moment, I know the value of them now, but I was so afraid that I'm going to do it. And like, where am I going to get a house? How am I going to get this house? How am I going to get this house? They said that they give me the team on the ground. They said that they could do this, but they said they could give me a house. Nobody else was saying that they could get me a house. No one else said that they had an acquisition team that's just going to feed me houses. And I went, whoa, now that seems like the most important part to me in my mind
at
then.
that moment.
And I was like, okay. I think this is it. I think this is the one. And there was like another program that kind of said something similar, but that was like Airbnb and this whole other different direction. And that kind of, you know, there was a little light bulb, little curiosity around that. So that's why I ended up sinking in and going with this guy.
Awesome.
Love it. It's great.
And when did you join?
January, February, March, April, May, June. Like August
23.
Okay.
So a little over a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And then when did you buy those? When did you start? When was this Peru trip? Like what year? In 23 or before that?
23.
In 23 as well.
Yeah, it was right before. It was literally came back.
Right before.
And it was like a week later I signed up with you.
Okay. And then when did you buy those? So you own a couple bars now. When did you get those bars?
Oh, okay. Well, one bar I bought like 7 years ago, my first bar.
Okay.
7 years ago, I went there. I opened the bar. I literally was just like, it was just me in the bar. Like, I'm not kidding you. When I first opened that bar, there was like 10 people that would come in a night. And I was just sitting there. I'm just like sitting there and I was like, oh my gosh, what I get into? But I'm like, no, I'm doing everything right. I'm in a good community. Like, I'm catering to the community. Like, I know my demographic. Like, I know what I'm doing here. There's nothing like this. Like, you know, and I was very confident about it. And it slowly grew. And I just put the effort in. I drove. It's down in Orange County. I'm living in LA, so I'm driving all the way to Orange County.
That's what my question was.
I don't know, an hour and 30 minutes sometimes back and forth. Like it was wild.
Wow. But how did you? Okay, so even though you bought that first bar 7 years ago, you still maintain after you kind of like got it up on its feet. You still had like other jobs that you were working at, like different other restaurants as GM and stuff like that.
Yeah. So what I did is I was working at one restaurant. Downtown. I quit that job to go open up my bar. And I was like, I want to open this bar and I want to have this experience and I want to try and do this for myself. I've watched all these other people do it. I can do it. I know I can do it. I don't understand like some of the back end legality, logistical things that kind of, you know, paying the city, and there's some things that just weren't like, you know, I didn't know, and I'll figure it out. Like I'll push through, I'll figure it out. So I did that, and then I got in this really bad car accident. I got in this super bad car accident. I was driving home. It was like 3 a.m. I spun my car out on the freeway. I woke up And there was literally like, do you ever watch like a James Bond movie or like 007 and they show the car spinning and it's like that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I woke up in that, like spinning, and I went, the windshield was all cracked. The bags were all released, smelt all gross in the car. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just crashed the car. How did I crash the car? What happened? And I was like, and then I went, poof, made this sound, poof, and I looked up and the car was on fire. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get the hell out of this car. Got out of the car and I was like, wait, let me get my bag and my hoodie out. And I like literally like went back into the car on fire, God. Opened up the trunk, grabbed it, and then like was standing there. And I'm like, wait, this is really bad. I shouldn't be standing this close to this car. I'm like, I shouldn't be anywhere near this car. And I jumped the fence and I started to call 911. And then as I was calling 911, it was right by the Citadel. So like I jumped the fence and I was over at the Citadel, and then the security guard over there goes, hey man, were you in that car? I go, yeah. I go, well, I'm calling 911 right now. He's like, I already called it. You're good. And I went, okay. And then I just looked back at the car and I just saw the flames and I was like, whoa,
holy
like
shit.
This is like really bad. And I was like kind of shaken up a little bit and like shaky. And then the cops came. They like were like, hey, like, were you drinking? What are you doing right now? Where are you going? The tow truck guy was like, bro, you need to go to the hospital. Like, I see crashes all the time. Your crash is like super bad. And I go, yeah, I feel fine. Like, I don't know if it's good. Just like, and I was like not thinking. The tow truck driver gave me a ride halfway to from like where we were to LA. And he dropped me off at like a Denny's or something. And I was like, all right, I'm sitting at the Denny's. I'm like, well, I'll call it Uber now. And then the next day I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. I had 2 broken ribs.
Holy shit.
I had a broken foot. And then I punctured my lung. So I couldn't like, everything was like making this like weird gargle sound. So as soon as I went into the doctor, they were like, all right, you're going into surgery. We're going to put the tube in you. And I freaked out. I was like, this is crazy. This is all happened so fast. Damn. And I spent 4 nights in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 nights in the hospital. And I was embarrassed that like this happened. So I'd like fall asleep driving. I felt like a moron. So I was like, well, I don't want to tell anyone. So I really didn't tell anyone. But then I posted a picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then everybody hit me up and was like, what are you doing? And then some friends came and saw me and, but it was just like that part of it made me go, you know what? I cannot commute like this. I work too hard in these jobs, this hospitality work. It's super engaging when you're talking to people in front of you. And then the hours are super long. And I was like, I can't do this. So I ended up having somebody who was working at that bar, stepped up, become general manager, runs that bar now. She actually oversees some of our other stuff too, which is great. And she kills it. And then I went, I'm just going to get another job running a restaurant here, GMing something.
Locally.
And I was like, and I tried to find something and I went with that job. And then while I was there, I opened up another bar, left that job, opened up another bar while I was at the other place. But if you have the right people in place, like, you have the right team, you have your boots on the ground in the right place, like you're in a good place if you can oversee it and you know what to do. So that's kind of where I'm at in the bar world.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Why real estate then? Why not just be Anthony Bar Rescue?
Because I know, right? I've thought of this. Because I see that the wealth that it can create. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, wow, I can go buy a property and I could sit on that property for 20 years and I could have somebody else paying for that property and I could be making money off of that property. And if I did that 20 times, I'm going to be in a way better place than if I had 2 more bars. Because the bar money comes in, I can save a little bit of the bar money. What am I going to do with the rest of the money? I need to invest it. I need to do something. And real estate seemed like the best option for me. I lost a lot of money in the stock market. I put a lot of money in Bitcoin. Didn't have a great experience. Thank you, universe. Then it just went up crazy because I sold it all.
Amazing.
I sold all of the crypto. I was
Amazing.
like, I'm done. And it was great. And I cashed out and I was like, I'm so happy. But there was like the roller coaster was like this with it.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that's not the answer. And, and then like, I don't really, I'm not like a stock broker person. I don't follow a lot. I'm just listening to podcasts here and there.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm investing money into that. And I'm like, well, this isn't that great.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm hearing my buddy in my head going, you can't lose on real estate. Real estate's the best, And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like probably my most successful friend. Like, man, he's probably up to something. And my uncle was like one of the most successful people in my family.
Yeah.
Didn't do real estate, but has houses all over the Midwest.
Wow.
Passed away, gave a house to all of his kids.
Wow.
So it's like, and I'm like, okay, there's this real estate. I'm seeing these connections
these
everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone that I know that I can ask. I don't know like a friend of a friend. I don't know like somebody else that I could really ask that I know.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pull the trigger and I'm gonna jump in and go hard and learn what I can.
Could you buy the bar real estate and kind of like merge those two worlds together?
You can.
Okay.
You can. We've tried. It's kind of tricky because sometimes they don't want to sell it, then they do want to sell it, but then they make good money from that business. One of them wanted to sell it to us, but it was way more than we were willing to pay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see bars for sale and they're selling it as a package. Like you can get the real estate and the business, and you're kind of like, well, you're overvaluing the business big time. Big. That business is not worth that.
Yeah.
But the real estate might be. So it's just those never really felt like a good move, but people do that. Lots of like huge corporations do that. I think like Shake Shack does that.
Yeah. Okay. And then when you're buying these bars, did you get like SBA loans to buy them and stuff like that, or like how does that whole process
No,
work?
you know what? This
Seller financing?
No. You know what I did? I just saved up my money.
No way. And
I just saved up my money and I bought it cash. I just wrote a check. I have a business partner. Me and him do it together. Which is also like very nice. So it's not 100% on me.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's 50-50 split. We get emails, we get random things that we're dealing with all the time. Nothing crazy, but sometimes he gets it, sometimes I get it. And it's a great split. But yeah, I literally just saved up money. I was telling somebody this, like I have some friends in town and we were at the Grand Central Market and I was like, they're like, Anthony, how did you get those? And I was like, oh, I saved up money working there. And I literally pointed to the place in Grand Central Market I opened. And I was like, I worked there and I saved all my money.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was just at that point in my life, I lived in a 5-bedroom house in Silver Lake. Car was paid off. Had a season pass to go snowboarding. Like life was good. Damn. Like I didn't have any big expenses. I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't going to like crazy dinners and doing date things and like going to Catalina for the weekend. Like life was just like hanging with the homies and working.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was just saving all my money, and then eventually I saved enough to buy a bar.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then when you were researching, so that makes sense about the bar and splitting it up with real estate, especially in California. Why did you, when you were researching all these other programs, did you ever look at doing, because you work here in LA, you started the bars here in LA. A lot of people would be like, well, Anthony, you should buy the real estate here in LA or, grow the portfolio here. But you went right to going out of state. Was that like a difficult transition for you, or were you just like, no, hell, because then you just brought up your uncle who did have houses in the Midwest. So did that, oh, well, my uncle did that, so that could be a good move, or like, was it an easy transition to go out of state, or was it like a hard sell you had to sell yourself on?
No, you know what? It was a little hard. It was a little hard. Like I really had to like think it out.
Yeah.
But I'm just like everything that because like originally I was like, hey, I want to do this here. Like I want to do this in California. Like who can teach me how to do this here? Nobody really, because like it's a select few are doing it and they're just holding the covenant key.
Yeah.
And you have to have tons of money to make it work. Like just tons of money. So obviously, and then dealing with everybody and being in the community and listening to Bigger Pockets and listening to Brandon Turner's podcast and listening to all these guys out there, they're all in my phone. I'm always listening to them. All they talk about is Midwest. Midwest. So it's like I'm definitely hearing it all the time.
Okay, good.
And it was still hard for me to like, you might go, I'm interested in real estate. Ooh, let me waddle over to Bigger Pockets and play one of those episodes. And then you hear it and you're still like, I'm on the fence. But after like me, I've listened to 50 Bigger Pockets episodes. I'm like, okay, the Midwest is a thing. This is a real thing.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull the trigger and try my luck.
Love it. And how's it been going what's happened in the last year since joining?
Yeah. So I've purchased 5 houses. I did 5 houses my first year.
Awesome.
First one was a retail flip. Took that, flipped it, went through the whole process. Next house, we decided to keep it and hold it. So now like I'm a landlord, which is like kind of funny.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I own a house. Okay, whatever. And I was like, that's great. That's kind of the goal. The goal is for me, like in my head, to maybe hold on to 2 every year. Like,
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking 2 every year and kind of see how that plays out.
Okay.
And then so I have that one. And then I have 3 that are going right now.
Cool.
One is going to be another retail flip, and then the other are going to be turnkeys that I'm going to sell with Martel Turnkey.
Awesome.
So I'm super stoked on that because I haven't finished that process yet. So to like do that, and that's going to be like, in my head, that's going to be like my full 100% proof of concept for myself. Even though like in the community, I'm seeing everybody do it, but I'm like, I want to do it. I want to finish the marathon. You know, I don't want to just train for it. I want to finish it. So once I do that, I'm really excited to really dive in deeper and blow this thing up.
Love it.
Yeah, like I really want to, you know, like I'm thinking like, okay, cool. Like the goal was to have 4 houses in the rotation. Well, I accomplished that like six months into it.
Jeez.
You know, and I was like, okay, cool. I got those houses, great. And then I jumped in pretty heavy, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna just do my bars, not take a job, do this for a while. So it allowed me to have a little more freedom, a little bit more fun, a little bit more of life. And yeah, I'm thinking that once I do that, I'm gonna really try and like
double down.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, I guess it'd be like, yeah, double down.
Okay. More
double
than
down from what I got. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what has been your biggest like challenge in this whole process?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, when you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind was getting off the fence. Just getting off the fence and going, do I want to do real estate? Should I not do real estate? Like, what am I going to do with my money? Where am I going to go?
Wow.
Like for me, that was the hardest part.
Before joining Flip System, like that, just that researching phase, or after? Because people also have that after they join. After they join, whatever. I'm not just talking about Flip System too, but like after they're like, I'm investing into a mentor, and then it's kind of like still they're kind of hesitant. So was it before the jump or after?
No. For sure before.
Okay.
For sure before, just kind of figuring out like, can I do this? Is this like, this is crazy? You know, it's a very big investment too, to kind of like to do this and to really put your, like, just put your ass on the line.
Yeah.
And like, hey, are you going to do this, buddy? Or are you not going to do it?
Exactly.
You know? And that was a hard decision for me to get to that point and then to actually do it.
Yeah.
But then to come to, you know, off what you're saying, like once I was in the program and once I had coaching, like for me, it was, I don't think anything was like really hard. It just took time.
Yeah.
And it was energy. And it's not like, you know, it can't be it's not like the most glamorous work at times. It's like, you know, I was like thinking about the other day, I was like, it's like kind of like unloading the dishwasher. Like it's right there. And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't really like want to do it. But then once I start doing it, I'm like, oh, this is easy. This is fine. What was my problem? I'm done now. I need to load it again. All right, well, I guess I'll do that since my hands are out and I'm doing it, you know, and then you do that. And it's kind of like, it kind of feels like that for me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's very, and I see why you say that. It's very repetitive. The numbers are the same every fucking time.
Yeah.
People like make it so much more complicated than it has to be. But it's the same house, the same bedroom bathroom count, the same-ish square footage, the same neighborhood sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very repetitive work over and over and over. And that's why I think the people that win, for me, like I have zero emotion at all. It's just pure numbers on a spreadsheet. That is it.
Yeah.
And so if you can get it down to that and you have no emotion, then it makes it easier to load the dishwasher because then you're not like, oh, this plate, I love this plate. That's a little dirty. It's like, no, just fucking put it in, you know?
Totally.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, it's, it's been, that's kind of it, yeah.
Yeah. So you have 5 now, 3 under construction, 1 you sold as a retail fix and flip.
Yeah.
That one, which market are you in?
I'm in a couple markets.
Okay. This took a turn.
Yeah, I know. Surprise.
So what happened?
Surprise. But it's great. It's great because I'm in a couple markets, Cincinnati, St. Louis, and Detroit.
Nice.
I have houses in all of them.
Nice.
And what's been fantastic is getting the opportunity to work with the different teams.
Okay.
And every place does it a little different. So like, I was like, oh great, how does the loans work in this place? Oh, that's different than over here. Or oh great, like now I have to call the city and set this up a weird way. Like that's weird. Why do they do it like that? Oh, because they've been doing it that way for 100 years.
Yeah.
So there's like weird things, but like the best thing I've learned is I've learned how to work with the people and manage the people and oversee them and really like, you know, try and get results, make sure everything's moving, and working with different personalities.
Yeah.
So like every time I moved to another market, that got stronger. So like the market I'm in now, it's like the strongest. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. Everything is like working systematically like it should.
Nice.
Like I read a teachable, and what happens in the teachable is exactly what's happening right now. But I'm like making sure I'm staying on top of it. I'm not letting things slide.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite market out of those? That's what everybody's going to want to know.
Oh man.
And it could just be the team too, because I've gone to markets and I love a market and then I can't find any team there.
Yeah.
But it's just the team makes that market like fucking kick ass.
Yeah. Like any business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like your team is like, that's the heart and soul.
Yeah.
It depends what you want to do. Like it depends what you want to do. I think if you want to do like a retail flip, I think that the team that I got associated with in St. Louis is really good.
Okay.
But that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the turnkey route.
Okay.
And I just want to turn and burn it.
Yeah.
And I just want to see the numbers go ding 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 ding. I feel that there's more safe outs in that.
Yeah. Way more.
Yeah, way more. Than trying to do the retail flip. And everyone wants that, but at the end of the day, I'm like, there's a lot more risk involved. It just takes longer. The teams that are doing that aren't as good as the teams like per se in Detroit, where it's just locked in. Like this is just what they do.
Yeah.
And it moves at the speed that I want it to. Like everything's taking a little bit longer in the other markets I've been in.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
You know? So like for me, my favorite I would say is Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, Detroit.
Oh,
and I'm just gonna like
can't say that.
edit that out. Edit that out. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so now you want to do, and I'm glad you say that you want to so you've done a buy and hold or a BRRRR, so that's good. You've done the retail fix and flip in St. Louis, it sounds like. Now you're going to do the turnkey fix and flip. So that is where you buy the house, renovate it, rent it out, and then sell it.
Yeah.
Because if he can't sell it, he can always refinance it as a backstop, right?
Totally.
And you're going to plan on do that in Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once you go full cycle on that, you plan to double down, triple down?
Yeah.
And are you doing this with your business, like the bar business partner? Has he got involved in this?
No. It's fun that you bring this up because I was over at the Grove the other day and we were just doing like, whatever. We're at the Grove. And he texts me this house and he's like, hey, it's $55,000 for this house. And I'm like, what is this dude doing? Where is he like texted me this house for? And I look at it and I'm like literally thinking of like the coaching program that I'm in. And I'm like, yeah, I see, looks like on the outside of the house, there is some fire damage. It looks like that's smoke. There's no pictures of inside the house, so clearly they're hiding something. I don't see any pictures of the back of the house, so that's concerning too. But what's really concerning is the smoke that's going out of this random area of the house and going up. And he was like, oh yeah, I think there was a fire. Let me find out. And I'm like, there's no need to. There's no need to. If there's a fire, you just keep looking.
Yep, exactly.
You just keep looking.
That's hilarious.
But he's very interested in it because, and what I'm finding is now that I'm doing this and I'm literally like, when I first started this, I posted one little video on Instagram.
Yes. I saw that.
Yeah.
I watched it. Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure you liked it. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I did.
I posted that and and literally no one really like responded to that. People straight text me. They were texting me like, what are you doing in real estate? Wait, what's going on with hospitality? Like, what's going on in real estate? Like, is it an investment thing? Are you like, did you take your license? Are you going to be a realtor? Wow. Like everyone was asking me. And I was like, no, it's an investment real estate. It's completely different. I'm not a realtor. I'm not going to get my license. I'm investing in the Midwest, and I'm never going there. Like, if I can pull that off, it is going to be incredible. And people still talk to me and they ask me about it.
Wow.
Right? So now I have like he's like sending me a house. I'm like, wait, like I'm not that guy you're supposed to send the house to. I'm sending like houses to my team saying, hey, does this look good?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see the circle be created, which is like exciting and fun. But also when it comes to just like my business partner, I'm also getting other people that are really interested. So I know that when it comes time to pull that trigger and really start to move, I'm going to have a lot of people that are interested in, JVing on projects and like working together.
Love that.
Yeah. And I'm excited. Or I'm like, oh, that guy has money. He'll invest. They'll invest. So it's like, I feel like getting the money isn't going to be the problem.
Yeah.
It's getting the houses. But where do I get the houses?
Exactly. That's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
For you, is the goal to grow then a portfolio? Because, all right, so there's two different like paths you can kind of go down.
Yeah.
One of them is going to be like my path, which is like the turnkey fix and flip business, which you can do, 3 houses a month, 5 houses a month, etc., which is great, but it's very active.
Yeah.
Then earlier when we were speaking, you mentioned like retirement and stuff like that, which is more of like the buy and hold model. And then you just mentioned you want to keep like 2 houses a year.
Yeah.
So what is like the kind of like couple years? Like, how do you see the next couple years transpiring?
Yeah.
Is it like raising? And do you need to go and raise other people's money to go and do that?
Totally.
With the JVs and stuff, or what do you think?
No, not now. I have enough money, my own money,
Love
to do
it.
this independently by myself.
Nice.
But like, the idea of me getting into real estate was trying to get out of hospitality, so do
Yeah.
something different, and then that sparked curiosity and like going, wait, what am I doing? I have no retirement.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I need to really think about this, so I'm not living on a boat in the harbor.
Yeah.
Which might be fun for a while until there's a storm that comes through. But so I want to save for retirement. So I think doing 2 houses a year, saving 2 houses, and creating a portfolio, because this is like the beginning of this journey for me.
Yeah.
Creating a portfolio, but also working in the same industry and flipping 3-4 houses a month.
Yeah.
And creating it into a job.
Yeah.
Ideally, like in an ideal world, if I could pull this off, I would hire somebody else to do what I'm doing, and I would kind of just sit back and work on other projects or grow a different aspect of the business I've created.
Yeah.
Or get into something else, or who knows where it's going to go at that point. I'm not sure,
Love
but
that.
to have somebody else doing what I'm doing now
Yeah.
would be the goal, and to pay them, a reasonably good salary so they're happy, healthy, life's good for them.
Yeah.
I'd make less money, but I'd be okay doing that, knowing that I have income coming from bars, income coming from real estate. Maybe I want to do a passion project and I'm like, I'm going to go open this place with you. And I just do that,
Love that.
So that's kind of the direction I see it going.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then, when it gets to that point where like, if I am out of money, then I can reach out to others.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. So you do want to turn it into like a small business, 1 employee eventually. And I mean, you're probably starting to notice already, like the repetitiveness of the work, and with the software, with the deals already analyzed, it's like, cool. If these numbers make sense, if they it's really just like communication back and forth with the team on the ground, making offers for deals that fit the buy box, and then figuring out the money bullshit, like with the hard money lender and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it really is just a lot of tedious tasks.
It is.
Once you remove the emotion away from it, go fill cycle and trust the team. It really is like very, very repetitive work over and over. And loading the dishwasher.
Yeah, literally, like, oh, that fork won't get out. Why won't that fork get out? Oh, this is one fork I don't like. Should I throw it away? She'll know I threw it away. I'll just put it where it goes. It's like little moments like that.
Yeah.
But I think now that if I really dig deep into Detroit and I stay in Detroit, I'm gonna master those systems, because it's like oh wait, we're with this loan company now over here. Like now I'm over here working with this team, and they're like, use our loan company, or or someone's telling me to use a different loan company. I'm like, okay, well I'll try that one. Like let me try this. So now I'm like resubmitting all that paperwork again for another loan company. Like that sucks.
It's a pain.
It's a pain. So dealing with that, it's that part's not super fun. But once I get it locked in, then it's just like plug and play. It's like, oh, I need another loan. Oh, I need another loan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then once you build like a deeper connection with that team on the ground in Detroit, which sounds like you want to scale, you just have way more economies of scale as you go. Like, for example, like you build a really good relationship, even if you go out there and meet them and shake their hand, even though you said you never wanted to. You go take them to dinner or something, like you build that relationship with them. When they have one of their clients that they don't like working with as much as you, they back out. It's like, hey, here, Anthony, buy this house. It fits your buy box. Boom, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Here's the rehab bid. Here's the inspection. Here's a hard money lender. What happened to the buyer? They got cold feet.
Yeah.
And it's like, here. And it's like, oh, shit. That's how you start getting these deals, just like layups.
Yeah.
Just coming to you. And by building that relationship and focusing on one market and kind of just like scaling it from there.
Yeah, no, I am waiting for that to happen. I'm waiting. I can't. That's what the point where I get to, and like I feel like I'm right at the cusp of getting there. Like I'm right around the corner from that, and like building that relationship with them. Like they've been a great team to work with. Like I actually really, really like that team. And it's funny when you say like, oh, you don't want to go there. I was like, well, maybe I might go and see them.
Just to see them. Yes.
Just to see take a tour of the office.
Yeah.
Take a tour of the office.
Exactly. Yeah. And those three houses you have under construction, those are in Detroit?
No, one's in Detroit, one's in Cincinnati, and one's in St. Louis.
Oh shit! You still spread out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're literally. I'm looking for a renter in 2, and we are gonna hit the market on the other one in St. Louis in like next week, I think.
Yeah.
So it's all like it's gonna be great because they're all gonna sell, and then I get to look at my bank account. Yeah. And that's gonna be great.
Take a photo.
Yeah. I know. Then I'll post that, and then we'll get some more money for some friends.
Yeah, green screen would be like, this could be you.
Exactly. Yeah. I got to learn how you do that.
I'll show you after. Anything that I can help you out with, anything that that's been a little bit fuzzy in your journey or that you need direction on? Anything that I can help with?
Yeah, like at what point do you think, like if I'm in Detroit and I'm working in Detroit, when is just Anthony, me, when is it gonna be too much for me to just handle on my own? When am I gonna kind of go, oh man, I might need some help here? It might be part-time help, it might be full-time help, it might be a couple hours a week help. Like when am I gonna start, the wheels might start coming off for me?
Do you have a full-time job?
Not really.
I would say like one deal a month is probably like that kind of like decision time where it's either like you're gonna put in more hours, Anthony, or you're gonna need, or you do X, Y, like you're focusing on the bar, or something comes up, or you have another passion project where you're gonna have to get somebody to help to just kind of like maintain and do the transaction coordination or manage shit for you. But one deal a month is pretty good money, because that's $10,000 to $20,000 a month if you just go full cycle on one, and then that would be having like 4 to 6 projects going on at any given time, which you're at 3. You're not too far off. So let's just say where you are is like double the amount of stuff you have. It gets a little bit hectic and crazy. That's kind of where you're going to have to think about getting some sort of help, or just like, all right, this is going to not be 7 hours a week. It's going to be 14 hours a week for me.
Yeah. And then when you hire that person, like what is their role, and what kind of duties do you give to them?
So it depends what you hate the most.
Perfect answer.
So like, for example, I really hated like analyzing the deals and getting them under contract and da-da-da-da. I just wanted to be like, make as many offers as you possibly can. If this number is above this number, just click the button and send it to the team. Cool. Then when we get feedback back, send it to this lender. Cool. And then like they already have my information, and you do that once every 6 months. The lender needs your information once every 6 months, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to have like the final approval when we were under contract before we ended due diligence. I wanted to see the rehab and inspection report and the house and all the numbers, and I'm like, this is the Antoine check.
Yeah.
That's it. I just give it the check mark, and it's like, cool. Then the deal is funded, and then they just manage everything else. So it depends which part of that process and how much time obviously that person's putting in. With me, when I was starting Martel Turnkey, the biggest thing was acquisitions and sales. But you guys have the benefit of having the Flip System portal and the access, and Martel Turnkey to do the selling for you. So then it's really just all the shit in the middle, like getting those deals that are already analyzed and taking them to completion, which I think could be handled by just like it could even be a VA, to be honest.
That's what I was wondering.
It even could be a VA. We were actually thinking about like, as Flip System was around longer and people were doing like a deal a month, 2 a month, 3 a month, we have like a couple people doing that, to give them like an SOP to actually go and like hire a VA and be like, here's an SOP for a VA to learn how to use the Flip System portal. You could just be like, here's a handbook on how to use it. I think you can get away with a VA who's just like transaction coordination-y and can do some of that communication.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Yes. So I can see to get it there. Like to me, that goal seems realistic. Like that doesn't seem crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, okay. Like you want me to try and like figure out how to whatever, like run a marathon, like I said before. I can figure out how to do that. I'm gonna get there. Now to do a triathlon and to swim in the open ocean with sharks, forget about it. Like that's really hard for me to visualize. So like if I get it to that level that we're talking about, to go from there to like the next step higher level, right? I remember like hearing you speak one time, and you were like, you know, we hired all these people, we had like all these people in the office, and then we were just like, it was just like all on payroll, salary payroll, and we realized that like we didn't need all of this, and there's a sweeter spot if we were a little bit smaller. I was wondering what that looks like.
That's like that 3 to 10 houses a month range.
That's 3 to 10. Okay.
That's bigger than way bigger than the one, because then you have like one VA, but like what I just mentioned, one house a month with one VA is not going to be that much work because they're still going to need your input, but maybe it's like 20 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
And then with a VA, it's a couple $1,000 or less per month.
Yeah.
So that's like 20 hours per week of a VA. And then, okay, let's say we're like tripling the work. So you get some sort of economy of scale from like going from 1 house a month to like 5 houses to 10 houses.
Yeah.
But then post 10 houses, then it just like really starts eating into your margin. And then you're not going to have enough money because you're going to have to flip so many houses to be able to self-fund 10 deals per month.
Mm-hmm.
And then the complexity of the business goes from running a house flipping business with Anthony's money to all these fucking people that you have to now deal with. And now you need an assistant just to set up meetings with your investors who are funding your deals and keep that communication going. That's where so like if you had 10 million bucks today, it would be like, cool, you just need staff to like run and manage your money into this house flipping business.
Yeah.
That would be okay. But most people, 99% of people that I talk to that are listening don't have that. And they're like $100,000, couple $100,000 that they want to work with. So that's kind of my rant about that. I think it's like 3 to 10. And it's really like how much money you have when you don't have to, if you don't have to raise money, that's like could be 50% of the workload.
Yeah.
It's just like raising new money, finding new money, managing the money. Then you got to make sure your QuickBooks is all the accounting, all that kind of shit is on point because now you're fucking with other people's money now. So now it's getting serious.
Yeah.
Instead of yours, and it's like, oh, I don't know where the money went. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. So I would say that kind of range, 3 to 10, 3 to 8 is kind of a good spot. And if you can do this without going and raising private money, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Because it is gonna just really, really slow you down. I mean, it is kind of fun at the beginning to like do deals with friends and stuff like that. But once if the business is needed to scale to raise that money, that's when it gets tricky.
Yeah, that sounds tricky.
Yes.
And then you have to deal with all those personalities.
Yes. If I were to do it again, I probably would have done like scaled up the house flipping business, like Martel Turnkey, to like 5 to 10 houses per month, have a couple people on staff, and then I would have raised money for apartment buildings or like larger stuff. Because then that deal is like 5 to 10 years, you raise the money one time and then you're kind of done.
Yeah.
And then you still get to use the same team on the ground that we have already.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it, is just building a small business that kind of, makes 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month, or even more if you're doing 10 deals, without raising other people's money if you can. And then eventually I would just like be like, hey, but I'm going to buy a 10 unit apartment building or 4 unit building in St. Louis. Do you want to invest with me on that?
Yeah.
Then it's just a long-term play and it's way cleaner.
Yeah, that's a smart move. That's a smart play.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Anything else?
No. I mean, no, nothing that I can think of for you. But one thing I do want to say, which has been like interesting on this journey, is like getting the coaching program and like being part of Flip System has been like my my gateway drug into real estate, because it is like a little bit like, like clicky, and you want to like do certain things and you focus on things, and like I really like it's opened me up so much. Like I didn't know the value of what I was going to get. I just thought I was going to flip a house. Yeah. That was it, like A to Z. Yeah. All these other things are coming up, and when I'm listening to Bigger Pockets and I'm listening to all these other podcasts that I listen to, like I am so in the know with all of this stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that, I know this. I don't need to look anything up on the internet anymore. Exactly. It's all in my head. It's just like, it's been such an easy like transitions, ride, whatever for me. But it's like, I feel like it's just been like my gateway into this world, and it's been like awesome. It's been awesome. I love it. Awesome. I cannot all my friends ask me about it. I'm like, you should do it. Like, what else are you doing? Oh, you're still on the fence? Yeah, it's pretty cool on the fence, huh? I'm gonna go walk over here. Yeah, so I just want to share that. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and thanks so much for coming. It was great to meet you in person, and 5 deals in 12 months. So pretty damn good. Hopefully you keep scaling and keep growing and get some multifamily next couple years. I will, I promise. Cool. See you on the next one. If you enjoyed this and want more free content just like this, there is a free course that I posted on my YouTube channel. It's over an hour and a half long. Click that, go watch that, and subscribe. See you on the next one.